Broncos Country. Breaking news. Malcolm Roach. Injury update. What's up, Broncos Country? Breaking news just dropped that's going to make you stop everything you're doing. We're just days away from our season opener against the Tennessee Titans, and what happens? The Denver Broncos just received news that nobody wanted to hear. Malcolm Roach, one of the key pieces of our defensive line, is injured and could be out for several weeks. That's right, family. The guy who was a key piece in our run defense might miss the entire start of the season. Stick with me until the end, because I'm going to tell you all the details about this situation that could completely change Sean Payton's plans for 2025. Malcolm Roach left practice on Thursday and initially appeared on the injury report as limited due to a calf problem. Up to that point, everything seemed normal, right, family? Everyone thought it would just be a precaution, one of those routine things that happen during practice. But that's not what went down. The information that came afterward was much more serious than anyone imagined. The diagnosis came like a bucket of cold water: grade 2 calf injury. For those who don't know, a grade 2 injury is one that really affects the muscle fibers. It's not a simple strain that resolves in a few days. We're talking about weeks off the field. And when we talk about weeks in football, that means several missed games. The situation is so serious that the team is considering placing Malcolm Roach on short-term injured reserve. If that happens, he would be out for at least 4 games. 4 games, Broncos Country. That means he would miss the season opener against the Tennessee Titans, and probably 3 more important games of the season. But hold on, because things get even more complicated. Malcolm Roach isn't just any player on our roster. He's the main rotational backup on the interior defensive line, behind only starters DJ Jones, Zach Allen, and John Franklin Myers. When you lose a piece like that, the impact goes far beyond simply losing one player. You lose depth, you lose experience, you lose that security of knowing you have someone reliable to step in when needed. And look at that perfect timing, right? Family, right now, when we're preparing for what we hope will be a special season, Sean Payton built a strong roster. The defense was working well in practice, and then this blow comes. It's exactly this type of situation that separates prepared teams from teams that crumble at the first difficulty. Now comes the burning question: who's going to take on these responsibilities? With Malcolm Roach out, players like Ayoma Uwazurike, Jordan Jackson, and third-round draft rookie Syvion Jones are going to have to step up. These guys are going to have to show they're ready to take on much greater responsibility than originally planned. And let's be real here, Broncos Country. Malcolm Roach wasn't just another guy in the rotation. This guy was a specialist at stopping the opposing run game. He was fundamental to our run defense last year. When you lose a specialist like him, it's not just about replacing him with anyone. You need someone who understands the nuances of this game, who knows exactly where to be at the right time. The connection between Malcolm Roach and Sean Payton goes way back. They worked together in New Orleans, where Roach spent his first 4 seasons in the league. The coach knows the player well, knows exactly what he's capable of. When Roach signed with Denver in March 2024, it wasn't a coincidence. Sean Payton knew exactly what he was doing bringing this guy here, and listen to what Sean Payton said about Malcolm Roach during the offseason. The coach praised the player's leadership, saying he doesn't have bad days. Payton highlighted that Roach always shows up with positive energy, is always excited, and that this is contagious for the whole group. That kind of praise coming from Sean Payton means a lot. The guy doesn't throw compliments around to just anyone. If you're true Broncos Country, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any plays from the season that promises to be electrifying, even with these bumps along the way. But it doesn't stop there, family. Malcolm Roach's injury is just the tip of the iceberg when we talk about the physical problems affecting the team right now on the eve of the season debut. Dondria Tillman, our outside linebacker who plays in the pass rush rotation, was limited in practice due to a hamstring injury. Fortunately, the latest information indicates he passed the tests, and everything's fine. Tillman is important in our rotation behind starters Nick Bonitto and Jonathan Cooper, So any problem with him would be another headache. Then comes the most concerning issue of all. Dre Greenlaw, our star linebacker, missed practice for the second consecutive day due to a quad problem. Folks, we're talking about Dre Greenlaw. If he can't play on Sunday, Justin Sternad should take over the starting role, with Karina Reed seeing some snaps and Lavelle Bailey being promoted from the practice squad. Defensive coordinator Vance Joseph tried to reassure about the situation. He said the team is always prepared for players to step up at any position. Joseph emphasized that everyone on the roster, including the practice squad, has to be ready to play. But let's agree, right, family? No matter how prepared you are, losing important pieces is never easy, and the list of problems doesn't stop there. Nate Adkins, our tight end, also missed practice for the second straight day with an ankle injury. Marvin Mims Jr. is dealing with a thigh problem, Nick Benito with a foot issue, and Alex Singleton with a hurt thumb. At least those last three managed to practice normally, which is a relief. Now, imagine Sean Payton's head, right now. The guy is putting together the game plan for the season opener against the Tennessee Titans and has to deal with all this uncertainty about who's going to be available. It's the type of situation that tests the quality of a coach and the depth of a roster. The Malcolm Roach issue is particularly complicated because it messes with something fundamental, our run defense. Last year, we managed to improve significantly in this aspect, and Roach was an important piece in that evolution. Now, with him out, we're going to have to trust less experienced players to maintain that standard. Eyuma Uwazurike is going to have a golden opportunity to show what he's capable of. Jordan Jackson is also going to need to stand out. And Syvion Jones, our third-round rookie, might get his chance earlier than expected. For these guys, it's the opportunity of a lifetime. For us, Broncos Country, it's a trial by fire right off the bat. What worries me most isn't just Malcolm Roach's absence, but the domino effect this could cause. When you lose depth at one position, it affects the entire rotation. The other, defensive. Line players are going to have to play more minutes, which can lead to fatigue and, potentially, more injuries. Sean Payton has always been a coach who values roster depth. He knows that in football, it's not just about the 11 starters who take the field. It's about having 22, 25, 30 players ready to contribute when necessary. Malcolm Roach's injury is going to test exactly that. And let's talk about the timing of all this. We're literally days away from the game against the Tennessee Titans. Sunday, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time, at home, at Mile High. The first game of the season always has special energy, but now we're going to have to deal with these absences right off the bat. The Tennessee Titans aren't a team to underestimate. They have a running game that can cause problems, and it's precisely our run defense that might be compromised without Malcolm Roach. It's the type of situation that can set the tone for the entire season. But this is Broncos Country, family. We've always faced adversity and always found a way to overcome it. Remember all the times we were counted as underdogs and surprised everyone? Remember how many times unknown players emerged from nowhere to become heroes? The question now is, how is Sean Payton going to adjust the game plan? Are we going to see more blitzes to compensate for possible weakness in the defensive line? Are we going to rely more on linebacker speed? Or maybe a completely different approach? One thing is certain, the players who are going to take on Malcolm Roach's responsibilities have a unique opportunity to prove their worth. In football, many careers have been built in moments like this. When a starter gets hurt, there's always someone waiting for the chance to show they deserve to be there. And look how interesting Syvion Jones's situation is. The kid was our third-round draft pick, so the team clearly believes in his potential. Maybe Malcolm Roach's injury will accelerate the rookie's development. Sometimes that's how it works. You're thrown into the deep end and either learn to swim real quick or sink. Vance Joseph, our defensive coordinator, has the necessary experience to handle these situations. He's been through this before, has had to adapt schemes because of injuries. The question is whether the players will be able to execute these adaptations at a high level right away. What strikes me most is the confidence Sean Payton showed in Malcolm Roach. Bringing in a guy you've worked with before, publicly praising his leadership and attitude, that shows how much the coach valued having him on the roster. Losing a player like that isn't just losing production on the field, it's losing a presence in the locker room. Now we reach the moment of truth, Broncos Country. How are we going to react to this adversity? As always, united, confident, and ready to support whoever takes the field wearing our jersey, because in the end, it doesn't matter if it's Malcolm, Roach, Ayoma Uwazurika, or anyone else. If they're playing for the Denver Broncos, they deserve our full support. The 2025 season promises to be special. We have a talented roster, an experienced coach, and a passionate fan base. An injury at the start of the season isn't going to define our destiny. In fact, it might be exactly the type of adversity that will unite the group even more and show what we're made of. So what do you think about this situation, Denver Broncos family? Do you believe we have enough depth to overcome Malcolm Roach's absence? Which player do you think is going to stand out in this opportunity? Comment below with your opinion. Hit that, like if you're true Broncos Country, share with all your football fanatic friends, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates about our beloved team. Until the next video, and bring on the game against the Titans.